morning, gentlemen. I'm sitting in my study and I'm back after my foreign trip. I'm going to talk to you about the latest political developments which are going around in the world. One thing is very clear, that America is a superpower and it's very difficult to duplicate what the Americans are doing. अमेरिका जो है एक इतनी बड़ी पावर है, I think which we can't imagine. And you can see how situation has changed because 2 American soldiers were killed in Syria and 1 civilian interpreter, and Donald Trump had announced that he would bring retribution on the ISI which had carried out the killings. And within a short time he's followed up by bombing 70 hideouts of the ISI, and I think many have been killed. And Israel has also followed up with an attack on Syria. So it shows one thing, कि जिन लोगों में दम है वो एक्शन लेते हैं. Unfortunately, the Indian states doesn't have that sort of leadership. हमारी leadership is steeped in Hindu ethos and culture, and that is live and let live. It has to change. Because whether you are a power or no, you have to make an attempt to assert yourself in the world. अब इंडिया में आप जानते हो, there is a lot of anger at what is going on in Bangladesh. बांग्लादेश जो है, there was a revolution and sadly हमारी जो सुपर स्लूथ है and various intelligence agencies, जिनको पता ही नहीं चला कि ये revolution होने वाली है against शेख हसीना. She had to flee the country. एंड उसके बाद में एक एक्सट्रीमिस्ट सोसाइटी आ गई है. एंड रिसेंटली इन द राइटिंग विच इज कंटिन्यू, एक हिंदू को पकड़ के दे स्ट्रिप्ड हिम नेकेड एंड देन हैंग्ड हिम एंड बर्न्ड हिम. आई मीन ये आइसोलेटेड इंसिडेंट नहीं है. इट शोज दैट समथिंग इज वेरी सीरियस एवरीवेयर और समथिंग मस्ट बी डन टू स्टॉप दिस मेनेस. अब ये कैसे करेंगे? सैडली एक और बात है, जिस तरीके से जब अमेरिकन सोल्जर मारे, डोनाल्ड ट्रंप केम आउट विद अ बिग स्टेटमेंट. यहाँ हिंदू मर रहे हैं बांग्लादेश में, बट इंडियन प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज कीपिंग क्वाइट. वन थिंग इज वेरी क्लियर, दैट द ओल्ड स्टेट विच वॉज देयर, द एमिटी बिटवीन इंडिया एंड बांग्लादेश ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ शेख हसीना, अब वो वापस आने वाली नहीं है. इट्स नेवर कम बैक. आई डोंट थिंक सो. हालांकि अभी रशियन एम्बेसडर ने कल एक स्टेटमेंट दिया है कि रशिया एंड इंडिया ने इंडिपेंडेंस दिलाया बांग्लादेश को, येट बांग्लादेश डज नॉट रिकग्नाइज दिस. एंड हर एक जगह वो इंडिया को विलीफाई करते हैं, इंडिया को अटैक करते हैं एंड पुटिंग द माइनॉरिटीज एज रिस्क. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि हाउ लॉन्ग इज इंडिया गोइंग टू टॉलरेट ऑल दिस? यानी आप जाइए, हिंदू को मार दीजिए, उसको फांसी लटका दीजिए, and you continue doing such things, and the Indian government comes out with no statement, the Indian Prime Minister or the Foreign Minister or the Defense Minister doesn't say a word, and we do not know what is happening. In fact, recently when I was abroad, people were asking me this question, why is your government so passive? किस बात का डर है उन्हें? After all, on paper we have the 4th largest army in the world. और जैसे एलिस्टर मैकली ने किताब लिखी थी, फियर इज़ द की, क्या ये डोमिनेट करता है इंडियन पॉलिटिकल थॉट कि अगर हम करेंगे पता नहीं क्या होगा? सी यू हैव टू बाइट द बुलेट. आपको बहुत ज़रूरी है कि ये काम किया जाए, एंड फॉर द गुड ऑफ द नेशन हैज़ टू बी डन. सिमिलरली ड्यूरिंग द कांग्रेस रेजीम, जो डिफेंस मिनिस्टर था, मुझे याद है, आई थिंक मिस्टर एंथनी, ही मेड स्टेटमेंट वंस कि वी कैन नॉट कम्पीट विद चाइना because China बहुत powerful है. I mean, such a statement is extremely stupid. Ukraine, despite all the odds, being much weaker than Russia, is fighting back. So China may be a big power or whatever it is, but I can tell you China does not want war with India. They want to instigate countries like Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh to fight India. उससे ये है कि India will be tied down like, you know, the Gulliver. Gulliver आप जानते हो, Jonathan Swift का एक नॉवल था, in which a very big man, the Gulliver, was tied down by small men, the Lilliputians. दिस इज द चाइनीज फिलोसफी। और ये बड़ी अफसोस की बात है कि इंडियंस डू नो अबाउट इट बट दे डोंट वांट टू रिएक्ट। मैं कब से वीडियो बना रहा हूँ कि जब वो रेवोल्यूशन शुरू हुई थी अगेंस्ट शेख हसीना, दैट वाज द टाइम टू इंटरवीन मिलिटरीली इन बांग्लादेश। पर हर एक चीज़ के लिए गट्स चाहिए, एंड सच थिंग्स कैन ओनली बी डन बाय फ्रेडरिक द ग्रेट और बिशमार्क or Mao Zedong, but not by Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi, I do not know which world he is living in. He's a wonderful man, and but that is not enough. He goes around everywhere. He recently went to Oman, he went to Jordan, and he was given great honor. पर उसका क्या use है? I have not understood what is the use of getting that honor when in your backyard fires are burning and your own core alleges that the Hindus को मारा जा रहा है। इंडिया इसलिए बना था कि हिंदूज को है उनको बांग्लादेश या पाकिस्तान में मारा जाए। थैंकफुली पाकिस्तान में ऐसी चीज़ें नहीं होती। आई दैट क्रेडिट शुड गो टू पाकिस्तान, बट बांग्लादेश में ये चीज़ें चल रही हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द एक्सट्रीम हेट्रेड विच हैज़ बीन देयर। एंड एक टाइम था जब शेख हसीना पावर में थी, आई थिंक इंडिया वॉज टू स्मग, टू कॉन्फिडेंट कि कुछ नहीं होगा बांग्लादेश में। That was the time India should have taken stock of the Bangladesh situation. Our intelligence should have indicated that America and the ISI are not going to let Sheikh Hasina live. And that is the actual fact. Sheikh Hasina को उन्होंने जीने नहीं दिया, निकाल दिया, and she is in exile in Delhi. मेरे ख्याल में उसका वापस आने का इस वक्त chances जो हैं they are zero. I don't think he'll ever be able to go back to Bangladesh. हाँ कि उनकी आइडियोलॉजी जो है उनकी पार्टी ये तो रहेगी, and they probably may be coming back. There may be a resurrection after some time. But at the moment, it is something which India has to live with. Or maybe they have got some secret warning from the Americans not to intervene. We don't know. You see the great power politics. एक चीज़ याद रखिए that America is a very big power. इतना बड़ा power world ने नहीं देखा. So much so for that China also is very wary of the American power, and इसी कारण the Chinese are not attacking Taiwan. Why? आपने सोचा क्यों नहीं अटैक कर रहे हो? They have been claiming Taiwan for the last 75 years, but they have not attacked Taiwan. And they did teach India a lesson in 62. They had a fort, and again in 2022 there was a Galwan clash, and so many Indians, 20 soldiers died. So my point is they are also very wary of fighting the Americans. The Americans को लड़ना आसान नहीं है। हालांकि Americans dig their own grave, ये भी याद रखिए। ये उनकी कैपेसिटी है बिकॉज दे कुड नॉट विन इन कोरिया, दे लॉस्ट इन वियतनाम, दे लॉस्ट इन अफगानिस्तान। सो वो भगबीर नहीं है। इंडिया शुड बी स्केयर्ड ऑफ अमेरिका और समथिंग। पर अनफॉर्चुनेटली मुझे ऐसे कुछ लगता है कि कोई कॉरिडोर्स ऑफ पावर में कुछ विस्परिंग चल रही है इन विच पीपल फील कि इंडिया शुड नॉट इंटेगराइज अमेरिका। भाई अमेरिका को इंटेगराइज मत करो। दैट इज नॉट द वे टू पॉलिटिक्स इज फंक्शंस। इंडिया हैज़ टू फाइट द बुलेट। या तो आप शुरू से अमेरिका से अलाइन करते, यू शुड हैव डन दैट इन 1954 इटसेल्फ। अमेरिका आपके साथ रहता, बिकॉज आप देखिए 1954 में पाकिस्तान जो था इट बिकेम एन एलाई ऑफ अमेरिका, एंड विली नीली अमेरिका इज सपोर्टिंग पाकिस्तान सिंस दैट टाइम, इवन नाउ। एंड डोनाल्ड ट्रंप इज अ वेरी श्रूड मैन, एंड ही इज पुट पाकिस्तान इन ए फिक्स। वो फिर बात करेंगे लेटर गाजा वगैरह के ऊपर। बट इस वक्त जो इंडिया की इन्वायरमेंट है इट्स वेरी dicey. Even Nepal doesn't listen to you. सबसे पहले तो यो नेपालीज आर वेरी एंग्री कि आपने ये अग्निवीर स्कीम लगा दी, बिकॉज द नेपालीज लुक फॉर a career, a military career. They don't want to come for 4 years and go back and then move around like hungry people in Nepal. Nepal didn't like it. So you antagonized the very source of your manpower. That's a very wrong thing which the Indians did. Secondly, India has not been able to make any headway with Burma. Our relations there with them are just frosty, but so. They are very close to China. अब नेपाल का देखिए, Nepal is claiming Kala Chonki and certain other areas as part of Nepalese territory. They are showing that on their map, on their currency. And India can easily throttle Nepal, और करना चाहिए, because we are not here to open the doors कि आप आइए खाइए ऐश करिए and then give a beating to us. Sri Lanka, we committed a mistake by handing over the Kachavetu Island to Sri Lanka, which Mrs. Gandhi did. And Mrs. Gandhi also orchestrated the attack on the Golden Temple, and forever divided India. So India में internal division भी चल रही है बहुत ज़बरदस्त, and on top of it we have a leader who just keeps his mouth shut. I remember seeing a Hindi movie मैं चुप रहूँगी with Meena Kumari. I think Narendra Modi should get out of that syndrome, and there is required some action required. आखिर गीता में लिखा है कि जो आदमी action करता है, कर्मा, who shows his action, is the man who wins. So action ही नहीं है, so there is what is going to be done. By just positioning planes in Hashimara or Bagdogra and all that in the chicken's neck, उससे क्या मतलब है? Unless there is a plan, and by now India should have put it into practice to expand that Siliguri corridor, which is 22 miles, to say at least 100 miles. There is nothing to be frightened of anybody. India's security is more important than getting frightened from America or something. And America के साथ अगर आपने चाहते हो रहे, then you have got to play the ball. और मोदी जी ने ये बहुत बड़ी गलती आई थिंक की कि he didn't agree कि अमेरिका ने सीज फायर कराया है. उससे ये है कि डोनाल्ड ट्रंप became angry. He felt antagonized. और दूसरा हमारा जो पार्टनर है पाकिस्तान, तो गाने गा रहा है रोज़, डेली they are singing songs of praise for Donald Trump that he stopped the war, and they recommended him for the Nobel Prize. And in contrast, the Indians are saying, no, Donald Trump had no role in this. I mean, what terrorized America by becoming closer to Russia? It is not in India's interest at all. Russia will never forsake China because China is the bloodline for Russia now. आपको याद होगा 62 वॉर जब चली थी, माओ सी तुंग took the concurrence of Nikita Khrushchev before attacking India, and that time Khrushchev made a statement that China is a brother and India is a friend. Now brother और friend में फर्क होता है ना? And I think the same thing will happen now. Russia cannot defend India at any stage, anywhere. Not that America is going to fight a war with India. Americans would be very happy if India throws its eggs in the basket of America. But India is not doing that. And then the trade impasse is continuing. I don't see why one has to stand on ceremony and not get the trade done. अगर आप reciprocal trade चाहते हैं, then you have to make concessions. And just understand how Bismarck, and earlier to that Frederick unified Germany, Bismarck brought in the policy of blood and iron, made Germany a great power. Similarly, the Japanese, who till the beginning of the 20th century were just a local power, but once they defeated Russia in the Russo-Japanese War of 1908, Japan suddenly became a superpower. And now the rise of China must be studied by India. One thing is very clear, that Indians do not have the capacity for hard work, dedication, which the Chinese have. There are so many instances I have where the Indian productivity per worker is very poor. And the same Indians who go abroad, they work very hard and do wonders. So a cultural ethos है which we have to change in India. A mental block which we have got that we should not intervene outside and keep singing our songs here is also wrong. And India has to assert its power. After all, you are maintaining an army of 1.2 million. That's a very big army. And the Bangladesh army is, I think, just about 50 or 60,000 soldiers. It's a very small army. And by now, the whole problem should have been sorted out. In my view, as a military strategist, India should have acted much earlier, maybe last year when the revolution had started and all the rioting was going on in Bangladesh. I think the Indian army should have intervened. Even a parallel drop in Dhaka and capture the Dhaka cantonment would have finished this insurrection. And to get frightened that Joe Biden will do this thing and he will do that, and then at the same time, I think India was not ready to wear the coat of being a great power. मुझे तो ये ऐसे ही लगता है कि India wants to be a second-rate power to America all the time and catch the lapels of the Americans and continue forward. इस तरीके से नहीं होता. India has to make its own power. I think that's the feeling. There's a very nice write-up by one of the channels, Force channel, in which he says that India is happy to be in the shadow of America. He doesn't want to be a partner with America. So that is not the correct way. That is his opinion, and maybe he is correct, may not be correct. But India has to do a lot of things better than what they are doing now. There has to be a proactive attack, a proactive leadership. And why can't we sort out Pakistan, which is 1/6 the size of India? And to think that China is going to come on the side of Pakistan and start fighting is not out of question. They won't come. And then in any case, be ready for it. One shouldn't be like Nehru, throw in the towel at every stage, like he did in the 1947-48 Kashmir War. It's India which went to the United Nations for a ceasefire. Pakistan didn't go. So these are the points which are there. And at the moment, we have the big eyesore of Bangladesh. And until this is sorted out, India's security will not be safe. We have a very sizable minority of Hindus in Bangladesh. There are, I think, millions of them there. And it's about time they got some feeling that somebody is looking after them. And this incident, which is really heart-rending, I can't show it here because it will not be in proper spirit and secretly. And why should India tolerate it? Even now we have the Khalistanis, which is of course a creation of India only. There would never have been a Khalistan movement here if the Golden Temple had not been attacked. And who attacked it? I'm not going into all that history now, because that's an entire different chapter altogether, but the blame is squarely at the hands of the Congress party. And the leadership, I won't name the leadership. And now, Narendra Modi has to bear the brunt. Just going to Oman and getting a welcome, and then going to Jordan, getting a welcome, Ethiopia, all that. Usme tries. And finish the insurrection which is continuing in Bangladesh. This can be only done by force. Well, gentlemen, I think I have given you my ideas. I hope you agree with them. I'll be very happy if you subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and come back again and again. And I think I'll close. Goodbye, God bless, and take care.